Welcome to the 9 to 5 Solution, where we are a voice for business owners and for those thinking about launching a business. Now here is your host, Terrell Danzy.
Welcome. This is the 9 to 5 radio show. I'm your host, Terrell Danzy. Our first show. We've got a guest in here that I'm excited to hear from. Let me introduce him. He's David Berry, and he is VP of Banking and Lending. Say hello, David.
Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Terrell. Appreciate the opportunity, man.
David's also a friend of mine, also a Morehouse grad. Is that right?
Morehouse grad.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. So we want to welcome you to the show today. First time we're out talking about business banking, talking about lending, trying to give you guys some information out there about how to grow your business, how to get some money. You gonna tell me about how to get $2 million from my business today?
Listen, as much support as I can give you today, I will.
Okay.
You know that.
You sure?
Sure.
I need to know how I need to get this $2 million from my business.
We can do it together.
Okay.
All right.
So I want to start off with a motivational quote. I think it's pretty much trending everywhere. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. I think you heard that a few times.
A few times.
Just a few, right? I'm going to say it one more time. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. So it's pretty controversial right now because it's the Colin Kaepernick. He is the face or the ad for Nike.
Right.
So I'm sure you've seen it trending all over social media.
It's everywhere.
Right. So what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, man, my thoughts really are around doing what's best for you and realizing that what's important for you isn't always what's best for everyone else, right? And I think that's really folds right over into small business ownership, right? You have to kind of sometimes decide between what's best for you, what's best for your client, what's best for your community. In this scenario, he's put himself on the back burner to say, hey, my community is important.
Right.
And a brand like Nike to stand beside it speaks
it's
momentum.
Commendable. Yeah, it's commendable. I applaud Nike. I mean, they're getting some backlash, of course.
Right.
I think there's speculations that their stock would drop. Even your president stated that they're pretty much going to take a plummet with their stock. I mean, I'm looking at it now, and they're up 63%.
Look at that.
Just a little bit.
Look at it.
Just a little bit. So,
hey, anytime you succeed, there's always going to be oppositions, right? I mean,
exactly.
that's the way it works.
Exactly. So I want to go back to the statement of, or the quote, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, because we can tie that into our own life.
Correct.
Especially with entrepreneurs, because we give up a lot. If you're going down that road, and not even just entrepreneurs, but if you're seeking any goal that you have, you're giving up something.
You're giving up something,
right? So tell me what do you think you've given up?
Man, I think that's a loaded question. Okay. I've given up a lot.
Okay.
I will say a lot.
Give me one thing.
One thing. Okay, if I narrow it down to one thing.
Okay.
I will say I've given up at times personal happiness to make sure that, the role and what I do for our community, especially locally in Atlanta, it's just making sure that I add value there, right? So there's times I can't be with friends. There's times I can't go here and travel or do what I want to do because I'm committed on helping my clients grow and succeed.
I love it. So that's just a segue into what do you do? So tell me what you do. Tell our listeners what you do and how you're going to help us.
Gotcha. In layman's terms, in my role, it's twofold, right? So my biggest advocacy is me providing value for our clients.
Sure.
Multifold. So basically an advisor to small businesses.
Right.
All right.
I just have to jump in there. You said a key thing, providing value. I don't think sometimes as business owners we understand that we need to provide value to our customers. So always, number one thing is to provide value. But go ahead.
Correct. So providing value to our clients, mostly advisement, right? So helping that small business become that mid-sized business, right? Helping that $3 million business become a $10 million business. So, that's where my focus is.
So what does your customer look like?
My customer is very open. Really, to be very honest with you,
there's no minimum, so I can come with my $2 and
there are some stipulations in the minimal part, right? But one of the biggest things is my book of business is my book of business, right? I have clients in my book of business who technically don't qualify for it, but I saw something in them to where I wanted to put my energy and my focus there, right?
So tell our listeners, what does that look like? If I've got a small business or I've got a medium-sized business, what does it look like for me to come to you and say, hey, I need a business loan. I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. What do I need to have lined up?
Simply, I think one of the biggest pieces is one, a plan, right? So anytime you're going out to lending in any bank, and of course this isn't, please understand that these aren't statements from my institution. These are my personal beliefs.
Okay.
But all institutions want to see what your skin is in the game, right? So if you're coming to us and we're pulling out money, right? Think about it, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
We at least want to see a plan. Okay. We at least want to know that you took time to go somewhere and meet with somebody to say, hey, this is my vision, and I want to put it on paper.
Right.
That's really that's the start. Once we start going through processes, of course, the foundation and making sure the business is formed and making sure you're registered and all of those things come in place. But simple put, the business plan is the nucleus of the process.
Man, I think you jumped ahead because I was going to ask you about the plan, the business plan. That was in my later question for you.
Hey,
Thanks for jumping ahead. So the business plan is important, of course. I mean, we sometimes don't want to put the work and the effort into putting a business plan together. My other question, business credit versus personal credit. Big question. So are you looking at my personal credit? Are you looking at my business credit? Because I think sometimes we think if we just go get a business, we've got business credit, or we don't understand it. So,
right?
Can you touch on that for me? Like, what's the misconception between business credit versus your personal credit?
Right. So, twofold. One thing you mentioned was sometimes we don't understand the need for a business plan. Right. There are a lot of organizations out here, a lot of community colleges. They have programs that will provide support for business plan complimentary. Okay. No fee at all, right? It just takes that time, right? Sure. Now going into more of the credit analysis, it's funny because we always say credit is that one thing we can't truly adjust, right? It is the most objective part of the lending process. It's a number, and what's there is there, what's not isn't. Right. But one of the biggest pieces that most people don't realize is that the personal credit is always going to stick with your business until you become a multinational entity or you're doing $20-30 million in annual revenue. You're going to have a personal guarantee, which means that we or any lender is going to look at the personal credit report and the business.
Right.
All right. Now, with the business credit report, it's pretty simple. Any bills that you have in the business's name, electricity, any lease, anything like that, making sure that it is paid on a timely basis is the way to make sure the business credit report looks good. It's actually a very simple process. It's not as detailed as the personal credit report.
Right.
All right. And Equifax is really the main lender. The main credit bureau that offers the business report. So you can always go to Equifax, Small Business Exchange report. Okay. That is going to be the basis where all lenders look at, that one report.
Gotcha. So for all my listeners out there, you need to form some business credit.
Yeah.
That DUNS number, you can you talk a little bit about that?
The DUN is sort of a it's important, but it's really not the most important from a startup perspective.
Okay.
All right. Now, as you're becoming a more established business, when you get the loan, right, and you want to make sure that loan is reported through the Dun and Broad Street system, right, because it's sort of building and maintaining that credit relationship for the business. But more importantly, and I'm saying this because I see this every day, and it's hard for me to kind of come in at a later point and try to help clean it up for clients, but they really don't understand that sometimes putting a lot of the business debt on the personal side and then coming back and saying, hey, I need lending for the business because I've maxed out my personal cards. My credit score is messed up now because of that. I need business lending. It doesn't work that way because the personal is still going to be a very huge part of the analytics unless you go into a non-traditional lender. And in those scenarios, rates are 2 to 3 times what they should be.
So what's the time frame? So I'm ready to go today. So I'm gonna give you my application for my $2 million loan.
Listen,
am I approved?
You're not approved right away for $2 million. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. You might get approved for a credit card. We can make sure that takes care of it. Maybe $20,000 limit, right? But the process is simple for most lenders. We will look at the business, the personal credit report.
Okay.
All right. If you're an established business, we'll look at 2 years of your tax returns, maybe 3 years, depending on the dollar amount.
Right.
All right. Same thing for the personal. But if you're a startup business and you're saying, hey, I've been working for a year or two, I've started to get my feet wet. Now I need some lending to really grow and propel me to the next level. We're going to look at mainly the business plan. And that's really what it falls back to is how detailed are the projections, right? And are they projections that are realistic versus what we see in the industry norm or not?
So I've got a question. Amazon. You couldn't give me a loan right now, but would you give Amazon? They just Tuesday hit a $1 trillion company just like Apple.
Yep.
So you're giving them one, right?
Not me per se. All right, because my lending
they probably don't need one.
They don't. They most likely don't, but they are using other people's funding. That's traditionally how businesses operate. But in my space, I focus on businesses up to $10 million in annual revenue, right? So that startup business up to $10 million, what that gives me is a great gap to really take that small business, that startup, and kind of tell them how the 1 million space is. And the 1 million, kind of tell them how the 3 is. And sort of helping them bridge that gap to the next level. But I cannot bank or work or lend to Amazon.
I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Unless they want a subsidiary, a new one, something starting up, we can lend to it.
They hit what, 1 trillion?
They did.
They're projected to actually hit 2 trillion. They'll pass Apple. Man, what's your thoughts? I mean, I know you're everybody's an Amazon shopper.
First of all, I have 4 packages.
Just got me on Amazon. I have to say, he just got me on Amazon.
I did have 4 packages coming today. I'm not
so
even
you helped
going
them get
to tell
to
a
the
story.
trillion.
I would say a lot of people help.
You're going to help them get to there too, right?
I don't want to, man, but I will.
But
I will. But I love one thing that I focus on, and it's not even about the product or where to get the product from. It's about the level of service.
Right.
I was in a conference recently, and someone asked, "Who has ever called Amazon support?" Literally, out of the whole room, maybe 5% raised their hand, and they said, "When you call support, how did your call go? Was it the same as calling maybe a cell phone company or someone else?" Completely opposite.
No,
I called Amazon 1 time in 4 years, and they said to me, "Your new product is on the way. Keep that one, Mr. Berry. We apologize for the inconvenience."
Nice.
Period. Nice. Solved the solution, solved the problem, handled the problem right away, and didn't transfer me person to person. So that's what it's about. It's about the client experience.
It's about customer service. It's about showing value. Those are the main things that actually drive a business or can cause a business to fail. So if you don't show value and you don't have a relationship with your customers or trying to build a relationship with your customers, the other thing that I want to point out is the target audience. I read that earlier. Just making sure you narrow down your audience. What do you think about that?
I think it's really important. And I think one thing about an audience is that, so one thing about planning and growing your business is that you always have to revisit those areas, right? Your business plan as startup and 3-4 years in is going to look different. Your target audience may change. It may be a demographic change. It may be a product change, market, et cetera. All right. So you have to always be able to re-examine the business as it grows. And I think that's where a lot of small businesses have issues. And just to give you a prelude, my background is, I come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Sure.
My parents are entrepreneurs. I grew up in that life. So I didn't know what corporate was until I got to corporate.
What do your parents do?
My parents are in the salon and day spa industry. I mean, they've kind of spun it many ways. They've branched off, opened barbershops. They've branched off and helped lead product companies to go international.
So all you know is entrepreneurship.
All I know is entrepreneurship. Okay. Right. And I think that's what honestly allows me to be successful in the space that I am in.
Right.
Because my job is so entrepreneurial. What I want, I get, and what I work for, it returns.
Right.
And I think that's what separates, just me, my age. I'm younger in the industry.
Of course.
And traditionally, to be successful, it takes time. But one way to bridge that gap is being receptive to change, right? The market and the financial service industry changed dramatically from 2008 to present. And a lot of my colleagues, a lot of senior people in my industry, they weren't able to really adapt to that change. And so what I did was I brought in that change.
Right.
I listened completely.
I love it.
And I made sure my clients agree with the change as well.
Nice.
But entrepreneurship, it's my background.
Mr. David Berry here, Senior VP.
Yes, Senior. No, I'm not. I don't have the senior title yet. It's coming.
We're getting ready to go to a commercial. But before we do, we're going to offer a little giveaway. So first person who calls in, $50 Roof Chris. Yeah, call in. First caller, first show, give us a call. We're giving away a $50 gift card. Phone number is 404-603-8770. Again, 404-603-8770. First caller, $50 gift card to Roof Chris.
Man, can I call?
No.
Rejuvenation for youthfulness and beauty is trending worldwide. People are getting laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, skin brightening, tightening, lifting, and reshaping. As important to youthfulness is detoxification, energy boosting, and returning function and pleasure to the male and female organ systems. SmartPlex ATL, a comprehensive medical spa, located right here in East Cobb, just 10 minutes outside of 285, next to Sandy Springs. Dr. Alexander and his team enjoy pampering you while you receive customized treatments in a beautiful, calming, zen-like atmosphere. Come to our grand opening Thursday, September 6th for awesome get-to-know-us deals on Botox, fillers, and more from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Thursday, September 6th at Smartplex ATL, 4799 Old Town Parkway. You can also visit us online at smartplexatl.com. Smartplex ATL. We are your Hollywood destination for exciting youthful rejuvenation.
All right, welcome back to the 9 to 5 Solution with your host Terrell Danzy, and I've got here in the studio with me Mr. David Berry. Again, welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey, appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you coming in and enlightening our listeners on how to get their business funded. And I'm stopping by your office after this to get funded.
Submit an application.
I'm already approved, right?
All right. We'll discuss offline.
So, I'm always curious to know what are you reading? What kind of books are you reading?
Honestly,
what's on your nightstand right now? Just
I have a few things on my nightstand right now. So one book that I'm reading is the 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins.
Okay,
Mel Robbins is the highest grossing and most sought after female public speaker in the nation. All right, CNN commentator. And one of the bases of the book is really something I try to apply to all of my life, especially in a role where my day gets so busy.
Right.
But it's really 5 seconds. When it hits you, do it.
Right.
It's a simple process. If you wake up in the morning and you know you're supposed to get up, in that 5 seconds, she even mentioned a process that sometimes I use. It's kind of cliche, but count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just whatever you need to do it. And sometimes, especially with clients, sometimes I'll get to that later. I'm gonna do it now.
Right.
The 5-second, she said, do it. I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
Really, really good read.
So, morning. Your first thing you're doing in the morning. What do you start? How do you start your day off?
So I would love to say that I start my day off this way every day, but
no
it is
meditation, no gym.
It's a good majority, right? So I try to work out. That's my focus.
Okay.
I get up usually 6, maybe 5:30, maybe 7, depending on how my schedule is that day.
Okay.
And I go to the gym, kind of really focus on my mental space,
of course,
because the day can get crazy. So mental space, I go to the gym. I listen to I love gospel music, so I listen to it on my way going and just sort of get my mind in the right place. And then I venture out. That's it. I venture out to clients, to offices, whatever, to properties, whatever I'm working on that day.
Okay.
That starts it. But my focus is me.
Okay.
Because I used to do it the opposite. I used to be reactive.
No,
when I started in this industry. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Because if you don't, your day will start off completely wrong foot. I believe we have a caller.
Awesome.
Hello.
Terrell.
Terrell?
Hey. This is Terrell.
Man, y'all are really, I wish your show was long. I'm trying to jot down this information and everything. This is really, really, really good stuff. I'm really happy that you're going to be doing this every Thursday, or is that right? 1 o'clock?
Every Thursday at 1.
Nice.
Man, I'm enjoying this show. You got a great guest on the show.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go with you to try to see if I can apply for a loan myself.
You know what? Let me go first before you go.
You're right.
Well, since I've called in, I hope I can get that Ruth Chris Steakhouse. That's the other thing we need to talk about. But
it's on
man,
you.
y'all, this is a really
yours.
good show. I'm really proud of you. This is good information, man. I really am really enjoying the show. Really am.
Awesome. We appreciate that. And yeah, the gift card is yours.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I'm sure I'll be giving it back, but okay. That's fine.
We'll get your information, and we'll mail you your gift card.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Right.
Hey, keep up the good work. Doing a great job, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So first caller wins Ruth Chris gift card. I do need that loan now.
Listen, I wanted the gift card. I tried to call. I tried to text someone else to
Listen,
call for me.
I'm
but
definitely coming to your office after this. I need that gift. I need the loan now.
Hey, we do micro lending sometimes. I'll give you $50 personal.
So couple stats that were surprising. 100 million startups are launched each year. 100 million in globally. That's like 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds, a startup is launched. U.S. 28 million businesses. 543 are started each month.
Wow.
543,000 each month.
Wow.
That's 6.5, a little bit over 6.5 million each year. So there's so many businesses out there. So our goal was to, launch this show, provide resources, because they aren't all that active. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to get resources. You mentioned doing something for working in the community. Tell me, what's your number one goal in the community? What do you want to see change? I mean, that's a large number, but you've got Atlanta. Yeah. So how do you plan to kind of impact Atlanta with the platform you have right now?
Perfect. So when I looked at going into the financial services industry, right, I knew I wanted to work with small businesses.
Sure.
Could have worked with multinational entities, the largest companies in the U.S., investment banking, all the things that look sexy from a portfolio perspective, but where am I really, really providing that value? And so when you look at the economy, the driver of the economy is small businesses.
Right.
That is the driver. It impacts every community in America. So locally here in Atlanta, I mean, there's been some great additions, some great larger companies that come here, which means that there's a drive for smaller business to help form and grow those entities. I mean, that's traditionally how a lot of small businesses come into place. They have a need and they create a product or service to that need.
Right.
So for me, my biggest focus is really helping to grow the business community in Atlanta. But as an African American male who went to Morehouse, learning about Martin Luther King and just all of the things we've accomplished, right? That's where my love is. I really want to make sure that African American businesses thrive in this city.
Great.
Whether it's the access to capital or ways to better manage cash flow, or advisement, whatever I can do, and however I can open up my Rolodex of contacts and say, hey, call this guy because he can do it.
Right.
That's what I'm here for.
Good. That's great.
Hey,
I love it.
It sounds good, right?
I mean, you also got a nice suit on too. You kind of showed me up when you.
Hey, this is what I do. I love suits. You know me. I love suits.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
So we've got in the studio Mr. David Berry. We're talking about lending and banking in the community. Anything else you want to add?
What to add? So I would just say that, and I think this is what's most important, and I feel it in what I do, and I see it with a lot of small businesses, is really not allowing yourself to give up in the times of adversity.
Right.
Because it's a process, and I've like I said, I've spent 25 plus years watching my parents' businesses go up, maybe drop down some, go up higher.
Right.
And so what I really focus on with my clients is they call me, whether they need capital when things are going great or when they need it when things aren't going well.
Right.
Sometimes it's difficult when things aren't going well, right? So I really help them to understand that, hey, you have a nice balance sheet right now. The business is succeeding right now. I don't need lending, David. Yeah, we're doing good. We're self-sourcing it. This is the time to get it. Right. Because when things go south and you need it quick, and you need it now, it becomes challenging. Now you're paying higher rates for a product that you really shouldn't have had to pay for.
Right.
So that's really, really, really what I think really is important. And just staying in that, sticking in it. Because so many businesses that launched and that are now Chick-fil-A, some of the largest companies in the world, all started with this vision and something that was small, and they stuck through it.
I think that you brought up a good point. Stick with it. I think sometimes as owners, and not even just business owners, but just people in general, we fail and we don't want to get up. We get knocked down a few times, and if we get knocked down a few times, we got to get back up. The one thing I read earlier before I came in here is we can fail 20 times, but that 21st time we're gonna succeed.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
To all my listeners, if you feel like you're failing, get back up. You're gonna succeed. You're gonna succeed.
Works.
So I think my time is up. All right. So, got 2 more minutes.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. So,
I've enjoyed having you in the studio here. First show, able to give our listeners some information, some key information, because, I think not having the resources, of course, is one reason why our businesses fail in our communities.
Right.
And we lack just having the knowledge to go out and get it.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I definitely want to applaud you because this is a platform that is needed. It's really, really needed. And sometimes people spend a lot of money to hear some of the things that they'll hear on the show, and it may not even be the most accurate things that they're paying for to hear, right? But they're paying for it. And so creating a platform people can just hear how can they grow themselves, their businesses, and stick to it.
Right.
I think the inspiration is more important than anything. Like I said, when things aren't going well, just that inspiration and just that mental faith to know that things will get better, your business will still succeed, that's what's important.
Right. No, it is, always. Sometimes we need that that kick. Sometimes we need that little bit of encouragement. I mean, I know I have several times.
I wasn't going to say it.
No, you're good. You step out, and you launch something. You're always questioning, should I do this? Should I do that? But yeah, I think that the reason we created the show was to be a voice, to make sure that our entrepreneurs knew exactly where to go, how to do it, and most importantly, how to succeed.
Makes sense. Good platform.
Thank you. So, David Berry, I appreciate you coming on the show.
No problem. And for anybody who's on social media, feel free to follow me. My social media isn't the most professional, and I actually need to change it, but it's @_ You ready? You ready?
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
respect my grind. Right. And hey, that's what I'm all about. I work really hard,
Nice.
and I want to make sure people know.
I didn't say you can come here and promote your social media.
Listen.
We were just talking about, your day-to-day, how you can help some clients, give them some information. Not you
But
come
disregard.
Yeah, that was personal. You trying to get your followers up?
No, I just want to make people need to reach me if they have any help. Any help I can add. I'm always going to be a resource. So,
well, I appreciate you coming in.
anytime.
Again.
Appreciate you.
So this has been the 9 to 5. Tune in next Thursday at 1:00.
Thank you for tuning in to the 9 to 5 Solution, encouraging listeners to think differently on purpose. The 9 to 5 Solution airs every Thursday at 1 p.m. on WWE The Real 1100 AM.
Thank you for listening to another Old Fashioned Health Network show